Hey everybody, this is going to be part 2 of the Garrys Torch making of mod video. Thanks for coming back. I sort of woke up and realized there was a whole bunch more I should have done that I didn't do the first time around. So this will probably be the last part of the video, but thank you for coming back. So with that, let me play here. I'm going to do a, yeah, just kidding, there's more. So yeah, let's fire everything up. Just reminding myself of where we left off yesterday, or where I left off yesterday coding. Yeah, so initially we go through here, just playing around to see how things were working, give myself a little reminder. And then I realized that there was no safety checks, so we sort of want to make sure there's use a DAG or a directed acyclic graph in terms of the order in which the welds are applied when you have multiple. So if you weld onto a welded object, you don't want to have, you see that jankiness that was just there. We want to make sure that there's sort of a graph that's controlled whenever you add a new one. So it's one feature to make sure that the welds on welds should work consistently. And then also I wanted to be able to optionally add starting data so that you can, if you know the offsets that you want to set, you can set them directly. And then we'll use that same idea to do some sort of presets afterwards, right? But at the moment, we're just going to start supporting setting those initial offsets. You can kind of, I'm feeling lucky at, see how it goes. So we give some prompts, right? And while we're at it, I also decided that we wanted to do justice to JPL repos availability of XKCD color chart inside the KSA game code with predefined constants. So I wanted to go and grab some fun colors, and we'll utilize those throughout the UI to make it a little bit more fun here. So yeah, and I found my radioactive green, and it gave me vibes of the inanimate carbon rod from Simpsons. So it's one of my all-time favorite references back to Simpsons. I think shown it to Daishi a few times. Keep trying to poke and prod him to get some basic rod parts into the game so we can build things with rods, but we'll get there. Yep, so initial checks out here. So the AI coding finished, and then we want to test out if the initial data stuff is working. Looks like it is. Yep, that's not too bad. There was some bugs though. I didn't tell it to reset the data after you add it, and it also didn't support, I think, the initial rotation lock, and the scale values weren't included the first time around. So got to fix that. Things worked out pretty good. I forgot why I was taking a screenshot there, but everything was good to go. And in the meantime, still doing some more research on some XKCD colors we want to use. But yeah, I was just checking out the values, making sure everything's working as expected, double checking features, right? The rotation unlock is working as expected. That's all good to go. So far so good. We got a variation of our little Kittenpede here, where we're now introducing scale. And what I was testing here was kind of rotations on rotations of parts welded to other parts, right? To make sure the directed acyclic graph was working. And yeah, you can get some pretty cool effects where they're rotating freely around the initial target and kind of match the rotation with, yeah, it's kind of fun to play with. Who's the primary here? I think it was Hunter. Yeah, and then we got a little kitten ball. Yeah, this is okay. That's enough of that. So yep. And then yeah, the UI is getting a bit cluttered here, right? So we're gonna go back and have it rearrange things. Rather than give it a plan, I just sort of gave it a screenshot of what it looks like and told it was cluttered, and then basically just asking it to do better, right? It's probably not the best way to deal with it, but it's good enough for our use case. That way I don't got to go sketch it out or waste time actually planning it. So it'll do a decent enough job, most likely. Yeah, I gave it a screenshot of the current layout. And it should be ready to test. As a reminder, we're speeding up time quite a bit here. So the AI coding stuff, I sped up the time quite a bit. So some of those run pretty quick, some not so much, but yep, UI is looking a little better here. Testing these initial values again. It looks like everything's working. It's good. It's cool. Hey, that's weird. I didn't notice that yesterday. That's pretty cool. The part of the kitten model doesn't scale completely down. I'm not sure if it's not scaling at all or if it just hits a min. It might be like a clamped value, yeah, because when you get bigger it still goes up. There must be like a clamped value for the fur rendering. That's kind of interesting. It's a neat effect when, I mean, it's not good for, keeping air inside the helmet or anything like that, but I wonder if it does it with everybody. Let's see. Yeah, he's got similar problems. It's kind of like the Expanse, where that the protomolecule there would eat you and go outside your helmet or something. Maybe not quite that bad. Either way, I don't think his helmet's airtight anymore, so it's a good thing we don't have was it Kerbalism, where you got to keep them alive. So for now, I think they're all right. So I think I figured that was sort of screenshot worthy for Screenshots channel. I think a few people enjoyed that one. Can't help myself sometimes. Alright, so what do we have here? Play with this a little bit, and then we're going to go back here, and I think I was pretty happy with things here, but yeah, so we're going to start the colorization or colorification project here, right? So I picked out some fun color names like the radioactive green, custard. I forget what the other ones were. Yeah, so we haven't picked them yet at this point. Let's see. What did I settle on? What was it? I probably went with like hot pink or something like that. It's my go-to color for website design as one of the hard-coded constants that browsers support. Yeah, so the AI agent went on a bit of a tangent and started spelunking in the code base to figure out how to use these KSA color constants, but there's no sort of mystery here, so I stopped it and just gave it some usage examples of how the code base was already using it, so it didn't need to go and try and reinvent the wheel. It was going crazy trying to figure out how to build custom conversion types to extract the colors and things. I don't know why it was going off the rails. It was pretty straightforward, but it's easy to steer it back as long as you catch it. Yeah, so we're going to go with radioactive green, custard, and I couldn't read it fast enough while I'm watching the video in real time and trying to do the voiceovers here. Yeah, that's not great in terms of accessibility. I like the green, but not the color there. So we're gonna see if AI knows how to sort of create a better contrast with like different foreground and background colors on the combo boxes. And in the meantime, let's look for some more good colors. Yeah, we're gonna go with green apple, maybe orange-ish and green apple. All right, that's pretty good. I like green. Yep, also not so great. Not what I was expecting to happen there. I think at this point I told it to give up on doing the background as green, and just go with some foreground colors that are bright, because that'll be easier to make work. I think once you start changing the backgrounds to light colors, you have to do a lot more changes to UIs in general to support contrasting text and icons and things, so it gets a lot harder to do that. Okay. Yeah, so we're going with orangish red, bright magenta, green apple, orangish, and radioactive green. I think it's a pretty good lineup of colors here. So where do we end up here? Let's see. It's a little better. The drop-down icons are not great. Oh yeah, I like this. It's a good orange, another green, some red. I like the magenta. It's pretty good. Overall, it still feels a little cluttered, and you also see that the widgets don't take up the full width, which is not ideal, right? Because I'd rather that the thing stretch out and utilize the whole width, and then that way you can get some better range of motion on the drag sliders, because we use those to be able to sort of smoothly drag and change the rotation and position values, right? So gonna make some more adjustments there and make things a little bit prettier. You know, the default IM GUI colors are a little bit boring, so We'll make our mod pop a little bit, right? Alright, so this is looking better. I like the drop down arrows with green too. That's pretty good. Yeah, this is good. I also increased the indentation of the subsections under the headings, so that's a little bit cleaner. And now the things take up the full width now, right? So the drag sliders are they're dynamically sized now. Yep, that's good. Oh, we got Tiny Hunter again with that's that's oh yeah, that's pretty. Oh nope, can't go that small apparently. It starts flickering. We don't want him to like blink into another universe, but this is, he could be like a little Tinkerbell or something, you know, like you. I should have done that. I didn't think to do that at the time. I should have welded him. Oh yeah, I think Real World called. I should have welded on the Tiny Hunter to like his shoulder, so it'd be like a little angel on his shoulder type thing. Maybe next time. All right. Whoops, that's a different mod. Don't look under the covers. Forget you saw that. And what were we doing? I think we're just testing stuff out at this time to make sure, doing some checkouts to make sure all the mod functionality is working. Oh, no, yeah, okay. So next up, I wanted to create some sort of I'm feeling lucky style buttons. Because for me, I don't know about you, but a common use case is going to be to have the kittens ride the rockets. So rather than have to reposition them every single time, since there's sort of absolute offsets for these things, ooh, that's some good positioning with the RCS. Right, there we go. Let's tweak it a little bit. Come on, gotta find the right thruster button. Just get that one to fire again. I think I started playing with the keybinds to find the right one. It goes I, if I recall. There we go, yeah. Lights up his face and everything, that's awesome. Alright, yeah, so the goal here is looking for the position and rotation offsets. So I was going to need to have some sort of hard-coded buttons to position the kittens nicely so that they'll be, you can get them to all be arranged on the rocket. And then I think I ran into, like, the rotation for the third one, right, or Polaris there was not correct, even though it matched the values used to the other ones, and then I realized that there was a bug. So I think we had to go back here and tell AI about it, and that there's, we must, so the rocket, right, we rotate it to point up away from the surface, and then it was off kilter, or the rotations were messed up, right? So I was assuming sort of that the weld process was maybe remembering like the orientation difference between the source and the target, and it went and analyzed it and realized that it was. So if I had scrutinized it a little bit closer yesterday, maybe I would have caught it myself. But I'm actually kind of surprised that all the testing I did with it yesterday, that it didn't become more apparent. But yeah, so it did a quick analysis, found out that it was saving a rotation offset from the source and target, and then just removed it, right? So then it became a very simple absolute value difference between the source and target, same as the way that the position is working. So no grand mystery there, just something that was overlooked yesterday. Yeah, so we pop back in here, and then we're just fixing up or retesting, right? I want to make sure that we could use some sort of hard-coded position and rotation values to create those sort of I'm feeling lucky buttons, right? So playing with those values there, and then I think I was like, yeah, I wanted to do the same thing where I got it pointing up just to make sure that things weren't acting weird. So yep, everything looks good there. I like that positioning. I like him right behind the RCS thruster there so that it blows up right in his face and lights it up. It'd be nice when it's in the dark too, so have a clear shot of Hunter's face. Cool. Yeah, get these nicely lined up, and then I think when I actually, that was pretty cool. That was a nice shot. Oh yeah, sometimes it's hard to get the camera to rotate around. I think I got a better view. I got a little overzealous there. But yeah, so we're gonna go and have it create some preset buttons that use these known offsets. I was feeling lazy. I didn't even want to transcribe the actual values since there's, 6 per kitten, so 6 times 3, 18 values. I just screenshot it and provided it to the AI thing, and it's good enough. It's pretty good at the image recognition stuff. So, yep. And then we grabbed a couple more colors to use in our mod. So we got hot pink, canary yellow, and bright light blue, right? Yeah, and we can see briefly there that it extracted the right values from the screenshot. I did some quick point checking to make sure it was accurate. It all looked good. Fire things up here, and we should have a couple new buttons available to us. Right, so there we go. And of course I was looking at the wrong side, so I'm going to push the button, I think, and then yeah, it looks like nothing happened, but there he is. So we go this, go get some banjo in there, getting the band back together again. There we go, that's perfect. That is just exactly what I was envisioning when I first had the idea to do this mod, that I could just have these sort of quick buttons that would snap the kittens to these specific locations real easy. I mean, it's even better that you can do whatever you want with them, but in terms of daily use, I'll have that available to me all the time now, which is just awesome. Yep. So what do we got going on? I think next up, trying to remember. I think we're just playing with this here. I don't think there's a whole lot left that we have to do, other than, oh shit. Oops, sorry. I don't know if I can swear on a YouTube video. That doesn't look good. Never seen KSA do that before. Yeah. It's like that's like the Vulkan rendering is drawing the stack traces straight on the screen. That's bizarre. That's a new one. And yeah, the terminal also had it, so luckily I didn't have to just screenshot it. But yeah, so I went through a couple iteration cycles here with AI. It didn't really know. It just started making some sort of wild conjectures that we can't do the unlocked rotations and things. I had to tell it no, in fact, it does work just fine. And then that yesterday was working, and then I sort of realized afterwards that I never really tested the rotation lock against the rockets, and only on kitten. And then so sort of had that realization that it's fine with the kitten on kitten welding, but it's not fine, as you'll see. Yep, there we go, blew up again. So when you when you rotation unlock a kitten to a rocket, and then you rotate the kitten with like RCS jets, it blows it up. So that's the consistent factor there. So yeah, I just went and disabled all the rotation unlock features when I couldn't figure out what the crux of the problem was. So we had to sort of change tact a little bit, put AI in its place, tell it that it's wrong, and give it specific instructions to do a deep dive in the decompiled sources to figure out what the difference might be. And to its credit, it went and found the problem. So throughout the KSA code base, there's a process where a lot of the code does a quaternion normalization. So it correctly sort of guessed that in this particular scenario that there was a buildup of an error rate that then ended up being too much. But yeah, so there we go. It's fixed now. So now there's no problem with kittens welded to vehicles and doing rotation unlocks. So yep, and now we're approaching the end of the video. So I think that was the last feature. Yeah, so I just do a little bit of cleanup here, get rid of some debug stuff, and I'm making some sort of final tweaks to the IMGUI drag float slider sensitivities so that it feels a little nicer when you're dragging around and getting a finer grade or finer motion for making fine-tuned adjustments, I guess you should say. And then, yeah, I think this is going to be my final checkout probably, and then I'm going to get a nice, like, screenshot-worthy view. Ooh. Yeah, I was playing with that a little bit. Stick the kittens on there and unweld them, and then fly the rocket away. And then, yeah, this turned out to be a really nice view right here. It's probably my favorite shot so far. And I think I threw this on the screenshots, too, for screenshot channel if anybody's interested in it. Nice 4K render here of some welded kittens flying on the capsule, and yeah. That's it. the end. So again, thank you guys for watching my video, and there we go. Have a good night.